Hello everyone, welcome to a new webinar in the AgGateway Global Network webinar series. This one is on ADAPT's product model. My name is Ferreyra. I am Manager of Special Projects in AgConnections, a farm management information systems company, and Stuart Rhea, also with AgConnections, is also here with me today. And we'll be talking to you about a very important part of the ADAPT model, which is that which has to do with products. Let's review the agenda very quickly. So we'll start with a quick review on the core documents and the role of products within them. And these are the core documents in the ADAPT model. Then we will look at the abstract product class. We'll look at products and their link to the grower. We will then discuss an aspect of products pertaining to the components and ingredients that make up these products. Then we will look at specializations of products and then discuss a few quick summarizing comments and what you can do next. So let's first talk about the core documents and the role of products within them. We've said this in previous webinars, that as we modeled the grower's business processes in spade and pail, we came up with 5 broadly categorized documents. A strategic document called the plan, which explains how a crop is going to be grown on a certain amount of land on a given crop season. Then there's 4 tactical documents that support a cycle of documentation and principled decision making. The observations and measurements, let's say what's happening out in the field. A recommendation where someone with expertise in interpreting those observations and measurements recommends a course of action out in the field based on those recommendations. Then a work order where somebody with authority decides what to do about the recommendation that has been made. That work order motivates the field operation itself, and then that field operation is recorded through what's called a work record, which describes what was actually done. What I just said is captured in this diagram where we can see the relationships between these different documents and the field operation. An important part of this is the reference, setup, and configuration data that provide context for everything. In the case of reference data, that means information about all instances of an object. In the case of a product, you might think about a given product's name and identification number for it, who the manufacturer is, and what the brand is. In the case of setup data, we have things that are specific to the grower as opposed to specific to every single instance of a product independent of the grower. Case of setup data, in our case, might be the definition of a product mix, a recipe, if you will, that can be used to fill tanks to go out in the field and spray. As for configuration data, that is a particular case in which we're bundling a description of a particular instance of something, which was setup data, along with its state information, which in the case of a product might be what we call hot mixes, which are product mixes made out in the field where a tank is topped off with more product and more carrier. And that has some particular cases that we'll discuss a little further later on. Core documents flow between different actors in the farmer's business processes. For example, the grower may share plans with a crop advisor and a service provider like a crop scout or other data source that will produce observations and measurements. The grower may also share past history of work records and observations and measurements with the advisor. Then as the season kicks off, the advisor starts receiving fresh observations and measurements from the field. The advisor can use that to create a recommendation at any given time. Now, it's important to understand that these documents can flow back and forth and be modified as needed. Maybe that recommendation was too expensive and wasn't fully consistent with the plan that had been shared before with the advisor, for example. So the grower can provide feedback, the advisor can send a new version out, and so forth. When satisfied, the grower or the decision maker acting on behalf of the grower can send a work order to a service provider, such as a custom applicator or a retailer, who can go out, perform that field operation, and send the work record back to the grower. The grower, in turn, can send reports created from the documents that we've just seen flowing through the system and send those reports to regulatory agencies or commercial partners. What data is contained in the core docs typically answers a series of questions: what, where, who, when, how, and so forth. Products participate in this set of questions in two important places. It answers the what question in a field operation such as crop protection, crop nutrition, or seeding, where a product is being applied to the field. That particular use of products is in scope of this webinar. Another question that products participate in is the how. So when an application of a crop protection product, for example, or a seed is being made to the field, we need to specify the rate at which that product is being applied. We will not discuss that in this webinar. We will discuss that in an upcoming webinar where we'll discuss the ADAPT model for work items and for prescriptions. So let's move on to talking about the abstract product class. So what we see here is a simple UML class diagram. Just shows us the product class by itself. Now, product is an abstract class. We can't really instantiate a product. What we do have is specializations of this product class, like seeds and crop nutrition products and so forth, that are defined in child classes. Now, this object, like all important ones in ADAPT that need to stand on their own, contains what we call a compound identifier. We have discussed this before in another webinar. And this compound identifier enables us to use this product by reference from other places in the model. And the compound identifier can contain a series of unique IDs, for example, provided by reference data APIs or the farmer's farm management information system, that can be used to uniquely identify this product as it moves from partner to partner. Please note that we also have a manufacturer ID and brand ID that are referencing manufacturer and brand objects. Now you'll see that they're both optional. The reason they're optional is because ADAPT has made a very strong effort to be compatible with the ISO 11783 XML format, where these things are optional. Also, grower-made products and don't necessarily have brands. Another important attribute here is the form. So is this product a solid, a liquid, is it a gas, is it applied by count? Another one is density. This enables a translation of volume to mass and vice versa. The importance of this is really critical when we're trying to calculate active ingredient loads and other things that require calculations on mass balance. Note that density is a numeric representation value. That means that it bundles the actual numeric value along with a unit of measure that is very much, and have a fine day.